Hey dude, if you are preparing for an interview, it might be a great idea to get to know beforehand who is interviewing you and check out that person's LinkedIn profile. Why is this important? Let me explain you with an example. Imagine you are participating in an extempore competition, meaning you are asked to give a speech on a specific topic without any prior preparation. It's more likely that you would give a stunning speech if you are in either of these situations. Situation number one, you know the topic really well, or situation number two, you know the audience really well. This is because of the psychological thing called familiarity bias, wherein our mind tries to stay within its own comfort zone. The moment it comes across something uncertain, then it triggers the maternal cousin of uncertainty, which is the fear. So, bringing this into the context of an interview. So, it took me a long time to land on the job that I'm currently working on. And during my job search journey, when I was attending interviews one after another, I started to realize this fact that the more I get to know about the interviewer beforehand, the more comfortable and the more confident I tend to be. So, that is where I made it a point to ask my talent recruiter every time who exactly is going to interview me for a specific round, check out that person's LinkedIn profile, and then I used to build some sort of a persona of this interviewer so that I get to know that interviewer better. So this is not a huge task. It used to take me like 10 or 15 minutes max to build this kind of a quick persona. So to make it simpler for you, I can give you like 6 pointers that should be part of this persona. All these 6 pointers start with the letter G, so it is very easy to remember as well. So I call this a 6G framework. So the first G stands for gender of the interviewer. Why is it important? Well, we all know there are subtle differences in the way we talk to our same gender versus talking to a different gender, right? Of course, it cannot be generalized or stereotyped and it greatly depends on individual personalities, but you get the picture, right? When you're talking to your same gender, there could be a lot of differences in the way you open up, the way you emote yourself, and things like that. So, knowing the gender of the interviewer would definitely help to plan your conversation ahead of time. The second G stands for generation of the interviewer. What age band the interviewer belongs to. If that person is elder to me, it might make more sense for me to add a pinch of respect while talking. But if that person is around my same age, plus or minus 3 years, then I can be more casual in nature, right? Depending on your own unique style of talking to different generations of people, knowing this information would really help you to plan your conversation. The third G stands for geography of the interviewer. Where is he or she coming from? From your same city, different state, different country? Again, based on this, you would be able to plan your approach of your conversation with the interviewer. The fourth G stands for grain of the interviewer. Grain means the nature or character of a person. What sort of a person the interviewer is? Is he or she introvert, extrovert, gloomy, bright, hopeless, or doesn't give a damn kind of a person? If you are lucky enough, you would get to know this by that person's LinkedIn profile. And you would also want to tune your frequency closer to what that person is. Else, what would happen is that, let's say that interviewer is an introvert and he or she expect you to answer to the point, whereas you go all over the place talking about your pet, your kindergarten days, your hobbies, and the movies you watched. They'll just ask you to shut up. The fifth G stands for gaps. What all are the gaps between you and the interviewer that you might need to bridge during the interview? This is very important. Let's say, for example, you are applying for a job that expects you to know three technologies, out of which you don't know one of the technologies at all. And unfortunately, you come to know from the interviewer's LinkedIn profile that he or she is an expert on that specific technology that you don't know. And there is a higher chance that the interviewer may base the interview entirely upon that technology itself. So, knowing this beforehand would definitely help you to plan on how you want to address that gap on the get go in an interview. The last G in the 6G framework stands for glues. Contrary to the gaps, what all are the common things now between you and the interviewer that you can ride upon? It may not be on a professional front, it could just be that you both are from the same city, you went to the same school, or you have a same hobby, anything, right? But if there is a common element that you find, I strongly recommend you to ride on that common element. You be vocal about that common element during the interview. It doesn't matter if the interviewer appreciates that or not. This is because of the simple psychology that people likes those people who are like them. So that's it, my dear friends. Do this ethical stalking. It is fun. And as I said, I have benefited a lot doing this exercise. But that said, be ready to come across some bad surprises wherein the data that you gather, the persona that you build from the LinkedIn profile doesn't match when you actually start talking to that person. But that is okay. At least by doing this exercise, you would build a very good mental model on how you are going to present yourself in the interview.